So I thought we were going to try a little short video, and I don't know how it's going to go because we have a back seat full, or more full than normal, and Ziva is currently back there and hasn't made her way to the front seat. Taz tried to get in or it was in her way while she was trying to get into the car, and she only made it to the floorboard, so she has not tried to move up here yet. I tried to help her a little bit, but she didn't look like she was too interested. She's just hanging out. So, she'll come this way when she's ready, I guess. Yeah. Peppy, since Holly died, she was going to be home by herself, so that didn't feel right. So she got to come along with us, and we had a little field trip to the bank. And to PetSmart, I did not take them in because there was too much confusion. I did get them a snack, and they appreciated that. But yeah. So I've been seeing like crazy synchronicities today. I just looked at the clock, or at the timer, when it was at 1:11, and like when I went over to Starbucks, first off, my order went up. That was lame. But it was 5:67, so there's 5:67. When I pull in to the drive-through and see 22.2 on my trip mileage, pull in behind a car that has 111 on the license plate, and then happen to look at my phone. I thought I should probably let my parents know that I had taken their dog along so she wasn't home by herself and they weren't worried when they got back home. But when I pulled my phone out, it was 2:44 on the 4th, so of course all those numbers were bunched together. And then I sent my friend a message with all the random things today. There's 2:22. So yeah, I sent her a message about what all I'd seen so far, and then when she responded, I was driving, but when I got parked, I saw that she sent it at 3:45, of course. And like the two that I hadn't gotten to yet because they happened after I sent her the message was I got to the next stoplight and there was a truck with 123 on the license plate, and then the next truck that came through after that one rolled on through had the truck ID number was 37123. It's like, yep. So it's had my 37 in there for my grandpa as well as my 123. So they're like all over the place today. Yesterday I went into my office to uncover, well, no, I think the birds were already uncovered at that point. I went into the office for some reason, and my clock that is wrong, that I just stopped even messing with, was, because it doesn't keep time well, it was at 3:42, and when I looked at the other clock, it was 1:23. I just saw 3:45. Yep. So they're following me all over the place, and I'm not sure what's going on exactly, but there's a whole lot of stuff. And yesterday I was talking to my brother, and he said Gracie's wanting to start a YouTube channel, and she's trying really hard to talk him into it. And I said, hey, I still think we should do one, and I sent him my thoughts on like the name and all this stuff. And he kind of laughed at it, but of course when I sent it, it was at 4:44. And so then there was another one that popped up. Oh, Twin Flame birthday. I'm not going to share that one. So yeah. But then like we have the clock in the kitchen. When I went in last night, it was at 10:10, and the clock that didn't get adjusted for daylight savings time was at 11:11. So that was on the coffee pot. It's like, yep, that's happened twice in a short span of time. The other day, the Alexa device that we have music playing for the dogs on, it like stopped with a song. It said it had played the whole song, so it was at 2:22 of 2 minutes and 22 seconds. So it played the whole thing, but then it just like stayed on the screen. I was like, well, I feel like that's for me, so I'm just gonna leave that one there for a couple days, and until I left the house next and left the dogs there and turned the radio on for them, that one was on the screen. So yeah, Peppy doesn't know what we're doing. I've tried to do a video with her before, and she wouldn't stop panting the whole time, and she's so far continuing the panting, but she's been all right. Zippy, did you get? I think Ziva just laid down on the floor back there. Oh, Ziva. Poor dog. Yeah. So I don't really try to figure out what else there is that I've had going on recently. I mentioned this stuff with the other dog and all that recently. So it's been kind of I don't know, everything in the past year and a half has been kind of nuts. And there have been slow moments, and then there have been like a whole lot of chaos and a whole lot of death and like weird shit, and then a whole lot of making just weird connections with things that are going on, trying to follow what I feel I'm being guided to do at any point in time. Yeah. That's a lot of panting. Hey, what you doing? Excuse Taz's spit on the seat. I gave them some of their water. We went to PetSmart and they got their cookies, and I'm surprised Eva's not trying to get to them still because there are still some in the bag, and she is a fiend. But yeah, here we are. I don't know, like I just feel like things are getting ready to happen. And that whole working on staying in the moment piece is kind of a big thing. I don't know. It's just I feel very much like I'm exactly where I'm meant to be, especially with seeing all this weird shit that's like the repeating numbers and like the weird stuff. And there's other things too, but those are the ones that I feel inclined to share at this point in time. We're supposed to get a bunch of snow tomorrow. And I don't know. The thing was saying all week, or like my weather app was saying all week 3 to 6, and now it's saying 6 to 10. It's like, ooh, where are we at? So my uncle decided he wanted to burn the stick pile today. So rather than leaving the house then to do this thing, we stayed home a little longer, and I picked up sticks out of the yard. The backyard, the front yard, and the side lot, which is my grandparents' property. And that was a whole... See, I think a lot of like all the increase in synchronicities, I think some of it has to do with the fact that I had that, basically the last video I did talked about basically getting knocked off balance, and like how the whole deal with Holly had, I had a whole bunch of feelings with that, and had some processing to do, and I felt guilty, and then like the whole vibe for, I think she's coming up. You gonna do it? Come on, little short stuff. I know you can do it. You did it while I was in Pet Smart. There we are. Hi. This is my sister. Hi. She's like, I don't know, 13-ish. So we went on a little short walk. She got a bath the other day, and she was brushed immensely. She needs a lot more. And she wants to sit in my lap. Okay. You can sit in my lap. Yeah. So who's licking what back there? Somebody's licking something in the back seat. I don't know. Taz, quit. He's licking the back seat. Hey, Taz. Thank you. Yeah. So apparently we're sitting like this. Yeah. But I think with getting kind of knocked off balance and trying to, I guess, get readjusted, and I don't know what that's all about. Getting back hold of my my space, my boundaries, getting back in my balance. It's like things are starting to shift back as into a better place. And I was kind of thinking that maybe that whole thing was just part of shifting into... Are you going into the seat, or what are you doing? Just gonna hang out on the armrest? Because it's a really awkward place. Yeah. You can go over there. Are you stuck? I don't know what she's doing. Me neither, Pep. Me neither. So, yeah. Oh, but I feel like that whole situation kind of came about just as a means of, I think, kind of an expansion too, because, oh, I see. Her leash shows on the other side of the thing. Because, you know, the deal with Holly kind of knocked me off balance, and then, you know, then a bunch of chaos came back in, but at the same time, I felt like I was still somehow being protected from too much taking over on my life and my chaos. And, you know, then once I was able to regroup, and then I skated 9 miles, and then I took a shower and salted myself in the shower, and all that fun stuff. It's like, I feel like that helped clear the junk back out, and now it's like, awkward silence. Peppy stopped panting long enough for me to not respond or to not finish that thought. Yeah. I feel like it kind of, I think, just was a means of setting an example for why I need to make sure I stay on top of that. And also showing me that since I know what I need to do, it's just a matter of, not having those the stumble moments of feeling guilty about something that I ultimately don't feel like I could have changed anyway. But I still feel like it was helping to show me that I'm getting better at this stuff. Because I know that skating helps. I know that the salt helps, and of course all my rocks help and everything, but I gotta put them out in the moon next time we have a full moon, so should be the next week or so, I think. And 444 as I looked at that, so yeah. It's like 27 degrees today, but since we're supposed to get a bunch of snow, I'm kind of like half tempted to go skate. freeze my ass off, but I mean, I got a coat and I got a scarf and hat and all this fun stuff. I did have to get new gloves, which they're not really new gloves. They're actually my older ones. I went back to these because the ones that I was wearing when I was picking up sticks, one stick I didn't realize had a frozen dog turd on it until I went to pick it up. It's like, oh, great. So it's like, yep, that needs washed. And then when I kept going, obviously, because I was still picking up sticks, and ended up by the burn pile, and there was a muddy spot right next to the fire pit. It's like, of course. I got my hand in it. It's like, I don't even know how I managed that one. I think it was probably on one of the sticks that I stopped to reshuffle back into the fire pit, but yeah. My parents are having some weird conversation. Apparently my dad's truck door was frozen the other day, and there was a whole ordeal, and I don't know exactly what was happening with it, but now I'm getting messages about something with the truck door thawed and cool and whatever. So I need to figure out if I'm going to talk about anything really super exciting, or even slightly more exciting than I've been talking about. Otherwise, this video might just go nowhere. I might just do it and delete it. That wouldn't be out of the realm of possibilities. Yeah. I feel like I know. This is fun. So yesterday, my mom, the past 3 years, has gotten zoo memberships for the family so we could take Gracie several times. And she put it in my name because I'm the one most likely to be available to go with, whether it's my brother and, his wife, and take Gracie that way, or my mom and my aunt and I take her a lot, like in the summer and stuff. And for the seasonal stuff, we missed Christmas at the zoo this year, unfortunately, with my grandpa dying in the middle of things. That put a little bit of a damper on some stuff, and then it just didn't happen. There's been, of course, my brother's trying to figure out the boundaries thing with my mom as well, because he's having to navigate through a lot of the same stuff that I've talked about on here, just with the family dynamic and emotional abuse tactics and whatnot that have been deployed on us over the years, and how that's largely why we have not done more exciting things with our lives. I never felt like we were supposed to have our own lives, and that kind of stuff. And so since, that was a whole thing. So we didn't do Christmas. Christmas was kind of this year. And honestly, I don't even care about it anymore. I'm so over it. But zoo. Okay, so I got a newsletter yesterday, and the last one they sent out, they were requesting submissions for photos that people have taken while at the zoo. And of course, I've talked about my tigress on here a few times, and that same time as Zubu in 2023, got the good picture of the tigress. There's some pretty interesting pictures of the bears that I got, and a picture that kind of turned out like it wanted to be a poster of the elephants. It had the waterfall in the picture and everything, and it was a really cool shot. So I submitted the elephants, the tiger, and one of my pictures of the bear. The bear got into the top 4 for this little contest they're doing. So people get, I think the first one was people with the zoo voted on the best pictures, and which ones should be submitted for the newsletter and for people to vote on, which is the best picture. So I got a bear in the top 4. And it's like, I don't think there's nothing with it. I think if my picture were to win, what it would be is like basically, I don't know if like the fold out shot for like the next zoo, I don't know, newsletter, magazine thing, I don't know. So it's like nothing really super exciting, but I've never really entered a contest that I really thought I might have a chance of winning anything. So it's been kind of fun, I guess. I saw it last night and it's like, ooh, I can vote on my picture. And then just seeing my name with the bear, and it's like, hey, that's kind of cool. So there's that. And it's one of those things that, like, I was talking to my friends when I submitted the pictures, and it's like, I feel like this is one of those things where if there was like money or something attached to it, then I just wouldn't even bother, because I wouldn't have thought that it was worth the shot. And this, for whatever reason, whenever that came up, I was like, you know what, I have these good pictures, I'm gonna put them in this contest. And even though I don't expect anything out of it or whatever, and then now I'm in the top 4, so it's still, I think, the opportunity to change how I think about things. And like, okay, what's the saying I heard earlier that I've heard many times? Oh, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So, that's pretty much been my life. I just always talked myself out of it before it could even be a thing. So now it's like, well, I mean, all I did was take a picture with my phone. But, the bear chose to be a fabulous model that day. So, but yeah, I think if my little bear picture does win, I mean, then that, oh crap, my aunt's calling. Then that is, I don't know. I'm going to ignore that and I will get back to her. I don't know. I think it's just an opportunity for me to reconsider the stuff that I've just avoided, or would have even, like, this thing. It's like, I can say honestly, if there was like actually some kind of prize attached to it that I knew about, I probably would have talked myself out of it. And what's the point of that? It's like, that never gets you anywhere. So I feel like the universe is just trying to show me that if I start, just taking chances every now and then, what's the worst that could happen, I've already got a whole different view of myself after this whole YouTube endeavor that I was really slow to start because I was a hot mess. I'm still a hot mess, but even more so back then. So yeah, it is what it is. And you know what? I think the growth on this journey has definitely been worth it. And very difficult. My brother and I were talking the other day, and he knows that I'm doing the YouTube stuff, and he also knows that for a long time I avoided even mentioning it to him, because I figured, it goes back to that flying monkey syndrome. And if when you're connected with the narcissists, you end up basically inadvertently helping them and sabotaging other people, because you basically get this sense of this fear of what'll happen if you don't say something about it and they find out about it and then it's a whole thing. So I figured when I started out, it's like I wouldn't tell him anything about it either, because I knew if he knew I was talking about my family on here, that he would probably get that guilt piece really strongly activated for him and would probably, say something to our mom about it. And he said that, where he was before, he probably would have. It's like, that's the big part of, acknowledging, being able to change the problem is first acknowledging that there is a problem, right? So, since then, and of course we talked the other day, I was like, I feel like it's a pretty safe bet to say that the change has been noticeable, because I've noticed it, like just the fact that I'm not afraid to call people out on bad behavior now, or to point out things that aren't helpful, and say things where I wouldn't have before. And, as I've gotten more vocal about it, it's opened the door for my brother to work through some stuff as well. So he knows I'm doing this now. He knows what it's about now. And I don't know if I mentioned that I flat out said something about when my grandfather finally kicked the bucket on here. But, we've had a lot of conversations about that whole thing anyway. And, we both acknowledge that there is still some resentment towards my grandfather just for the way things turned out because of his obsession with death, and how nobody else was allowed to live because of his obsession with death. So, yeah, it's like we both have stuff that we're working through on that end. So, it's been a whole journey, but I feel like we're really close to being able to get going on a video or a channel for both of us. And like I said earlier, I have some thoughts on it. I've spent a lot of time thinking about that because, at first Ben and I had talked about doing like a podcast or whatever. And it's like, I still wouldn't rule that out, but I think right now I could rope my brother in on the YouTube thing a little quicker. Because, really all I got to do is show up after he gets back home from dropping his wife off at work and the kids at school, and we could do something then. But, it doesn't take a whole long time to do these, and I could call it at a half hour and it would be fine, whatever conversations we have or whatever. I think it would be beneficial and fun. So, yeah, so that's on the agenda. I think I'm going to try for that sometime this week. Of course, depending on how much snow we get, Gracie may or may not be out of school on Monday, which Jen works remote on Monday, so that probably won't be a good day for it anyway. But, if we could do that, like a video a couple times a week, and then I break up whatever I'm doing between my stuff and the joint stuff, yeah, then that could be I think it could be fun. But yeah, and if I had mentioned pulling him on it before, he definitely wouldn't have been in on it. And it's taken some time. I mentioned that Ben and I had mentioned doing a podcast or something, and then Ben went back to work, so we haven't been talking near as much as we were there for a while. And, plus he had another surgery, I think, so he's kind of been dealing with that. But my brother and I need to make something happen on that. And then I think once he has a little more time and energy devoted to this thing, then, and he's thought more about it that way, then it'll probably make him more cooperative on whatever Gracie's wanting to do. And he's got some ideas for stuff he wants to do for himself, on that end as well that I think would be kind of cool too. But I think it would probably be helpful if I roped him in on the YouTube stuff sooner than later, and then, you know, it becomes more of a natural thing, and then it can, you know, become whatever it's meant to be. I don't know. I just really don't feel like I have a whole lot to say today. I felt like I should do a video, and then I was all excited about all these synchronicities and everything, and then it's like, I don't know what to talk about now. I don't know if this is even worthwhile to post. Maybe just because it's a little shorter one. I don't know. Well, then people probably be like, this shit's boring. Why should I watch a longer one? Yeah, whatever. Peppy Toes. Hi. She doesn't know what we're doing. The others are used to this by now, so they're all back there napping. But yeah, Ziva's on the floor, like I said. I got back into the car with that stuff from PetSmart, and she like wasted no time. Like, give me what's in the bag. I know you got me something. Peppy didn't know what was going on, but yeah, it's all right. I think I'm just gonna wrap it here because I don't know that I'll even post this, but I might. So we'll see. What do you think, Gidge? All right. Well, as always, I appreciate you, and until the next time, see ya.